to Truth or Politics. I'm your host, Darlene Price, and tonight we have a very special show tonight. This is a call-in show, too, by the way, 606-376-5000. But please give us a couple of minutes to prequel the show. And we got an announcement here, a very important announcement we want to make. But again, get your pen and paper. It's 606-376-5000. Also, there's a long-distance number for free you can call. And that's 372-0002, 372-0002. But tonight is on health and fitness. Somebody was asking me about what I eat and how I stay fit, and so I posted a little thing on what I eat, what I stay away from, and that generated a you-know-what load of private messages, emails, asking me a bunch of fitness questions. And I try to stay fit, and I know a lot, but not near as much as our guest here in a minute, who's truly an expert at this stuff. So we'll get him on here in just a minute. But first I want to introduce, and again, hold your calls for just a few minutes, folks. Tom, you told me this, Bogan?
Yes.
Bogan, like Logan. There we go. I said it right.
Yes.
This is Tom Bogan. He is the commander for the Stearns Post 115 American Legion. And he has a very important announcement that we hope you guys will all come out for a family event on July 2nd. Go ahead. Take it, Tom. There you go. Oops, okay.
Yes. On July 2nd at One Veterans Drive here in Stearns, it's right off of 92. We're going to do the July 4th fireworks family event day, which is free except for food and drinks if you choose to partake. There will be games for the kids. They can play it all day from 6 to 8. Fireworks will start at around 9 or dusk, and free music from Austin's Basement. Hope to see you all there.
Folks, our American Legion puts on a lot of community events, and part of the selling the food and drinks is they're trying to raise money for the American Legion because they help a lot of veterans in our community. They really do. And they also help, anytime they donated things for shoes. This American Legion does a lot for our community. So come on out. Again, it's July 2nd, not the 4th. 4th of July this year is on a Monday. So we're going to do it on a Saturday. And again, family event, everything's free but the food and drinks that you guys buy. The concert's free. And for Austin's Basement, we play real music. We play, Rolling Stones. We play Bob Seger, Eagles, Fleetwood Mac, that type of stuff.
A lot of good music.
A lot of good music. So come on out, enjoy the fun, and they're going to have water balloon fights for the kids and dodgeball and everything for the kids. So come on out and join the free concert, free fireworks. Now, this is weather permitting. If it is a crappy day and it's just going to rain all day, we're still going to have the free concert. We're just going to do it indoors. And hopefully between 8 o'clock p.m. and midnight, sometime in between there when we take our break from playing, surely in Kentucky it'll stop raining long enough to do fireworks, hopefully. So we'll still have the fireworks too. But hopefully it'll be a nice day and everybody can come out and we'll be an outdoor event. So come on out. Thank you, fine, sir. Appreciate it. And now I want to introduce a couple of people here. First, I want to introduce Ian Lawler. I'm proud to say he is my son. But he is also, despite the fact that he's my son, he is a fitness expert. He really is. He's got a 4-year bachelor's degree in kinesiology. He's also a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That is the hardest martial arts to get black belt, to any kind of belt in. It's a very vigorous. He really knows his stuff when it comes to fitness. And I've asked him to be on the show tonight. And I also asked Truth or Politics Pulaski County, Dan Gibson, to be on the show because we're going to get into his reasons here in a few minutes. Because how old are you, Dan? Here.
August 4th, I'll be 74-year-old.
At 74 years old, he works out, and he's already lost some weight. He's going to talk about more in depth of that. And I'm 60. So if this old geezer and this old geezer, if we can work out and lose weight and try to keep fit, you people can. So I'm going to turn it over to Ian, and
I'll tell you what. So this doesn't turn into just a me talking at the camera. Go ahead and let Dan share his experience.
Okay, we'll start off with Dan. This is a call-in show too, so you guys can go ahead and start calling in. If you have a health question or a fitness question, people were asking me about, what do I do for my skin, anything health or fitness or related, please call in 376-5000, and we will interrupt us talking to answer your question. And what we'll do is in between calls, we'll go ahead. But tell us how you got started, what you're doing. You lost some weight. Tell us what you've done so far.
A little over a year ago, I had put on some weight because I'd had some health problems, and the doctor told me to take it easy. And so when I took it easy, all of a sudden I got out of shape and I put on pounds. And a little over a month ago, I weighed 255 pounds. And when the doctor told me that I had to lose some weight then, he said that I was pre-diabetic and needed to do some things. So enough for where it got me off the couch. And so I used to love sweet tea. I drank sweet tea almost with every meal. And I knew Ian, and so I thought, well, I'm going to try something. I've got to try something. So I quit sweet tea totally, and I quit potatoes, and I quit white bread. Those three things is all I did in the eating department. Other than that, I eat whatever I want. Then I went to Ian's establishment and started exercising. And in little over 1 month, I've lost 16 pounds. So it works. That's all you got to do.
Okay, and I've worked out my whole life, and I go to Ian's gym a couple times a week, but I also I call it Ian's torture chamber. And I used to do jiu-jitsu, but about a year ago, this is important to note too, well, it's been a little bit over a year ago, I got an injury, a shoulder injury, training dogs on my trail. I used a couple of trees for obstacles, trying to make the dogs do what I want to do, and I fell in between these trees, and I jacked up my shoulder pretty bad. Well, because I was in pain and I was a wimp, I really didn't work out that much. I quit jiu-jitsu, and I foolishly let bread and chips back into my life. I had gone 3 years with no bread and chips. After that injury, because I was feeling like a little baby, puny, and I started feeling sorry for myself, so I started letting bread. This is how addictive this stuff is, okay? I started letting bread and chips back into my life. Immediately, I gained like 20 pounds. My triglycerides skyrocketed. That can cause you to have a stroke. So about 3 months ago, I started going back to his gym. I started maybe 4 months ago. 4 months ago.
It was still really cold.
I stopped chips and bread again, okay? And I want to talk about this because I'm convinced that they put stuff in bread and chips to make it addictive. The first time I quit this stuff, it was hard. The second time, I felt like a drug addict. I swear, I'm not kidding you. I had cravings. I was witchy. I mean, it was...
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because in the UK, I can't remember what year it was. It wasn't that long ago. I'd say it had to have been less than 10 to 12 years ago. There was a research study that had been done because, unfortunately, in the United States, they don't allow you to use illicit drugs on on test subjects. But the research parameter was basically studying contrast MRIs on brains, the neurological synapses. And they took a control group of individuals and allowed them to use cocaine. And then a test group of individuals that were ingesting nothing but straight granulated sugar, like processed sugar, which was basically in everything that we eat. And on the scans, the areas of the brain that were lit up by cocaine were the same areas of the brain that were lit up by sugar. And not only were they lit up, were the same areas of the brain lit up, but they were actually lit up more. So there was actually more synaptic cleft firing from ingesting sugar than snorting cocaine.
Well, I've never been super addicted to anything, really, because I've never taken drugs or anything like that. And I'm telling you, it was hard this time to bake off bread and chips and everything else. But I did it, okay, I did it. And I'm telling you, I don't know how my husband put up with me, because I could feel myself. You crave this stuff. But here's what I did, because somebody asked me this question. What I did is I learned this from Ian. I went and bought a bunch. I keep carrots, apples, Nuts, all kinds of nuts. You know, you name the nut, I've got it in my house, to include me, right? And I'm telling you, every time you get these cravings, I just plaster my mouth with fruits and nuts and just eat it, eat it, eat it. Because, you know, those are complex carbohydrates. They do not turn into fat or sugar like bread and chips do. And so it was kind of hard because my husband, you know, he brings home a big bag of chips and stuff and sits there and eats it in front of me. I go in my bedroom and eat now. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe you're going to eat that in front of me. But that's on me, because in life, you're going to go to parties, you're going to do things, and there's going to be bread and chips there. You just have to do it. If I can do it, you know.
All things in moderation, too. You don't have to. All things in moderation too. You don't have to, you know, live like a monk. You can enjoy your life. You can, you know, have a beer here and there. You know, other than when I'm training for a competition, I have 2 beers a week. I usually have them on the night before I have a rest day. That way, there's nothing affecting me the following day, the day after my rest day when I go back to training. But you know, all things in moderation. You don't have to live like a monk.
Right, and I don't do that either. Like today, we went through Mexican food. I had 2 chips. I had one before my meal and one after. Also, in my thing, in my mind, you know, I just say, I can't wait till Saturday. Saturday or Sunday, one day a week, I have my blueberry pancakes with my blueberry syrup. Okay, so I do reward myself, but 99% of the time, I stay away from, like he said, potatoes. I don't ever use sugar. Let me repeat that. I don't put sugar on anything. I have locally grown honey, and I put honey on everything, okay, because that also helps with allergies, okay. That's what I do. Here's another tip, because somebody was asking me about this. If you hate vegetables, don't worry, you can get vegetables. Kale, organic kale that you can buy at any store, organic kale, is one of the most nutritious veggies you can do. It's a superfood. Get yourself a blender. Write this down. If you do this once a day, every day, you will be fine and you will be much healthier. A handful or so of kale, blueberries, strawberries, carrots, yogurt, what else do I put in? Tomatoes, whatever kind. What happens is you don't taste the kale. You blend that up real fine and you drink it. It's a smoothie, and then put ice in there and milk. And I use milk. I use whole milk, you know, and put all that in there, put it in the blender. It will taste like a blueberry. Bananas. I put a banana in there. What you will taste is the blueberries, strawberries, and bananas. You won't taste the veggies. I promise you. Okay, so drink that every day. If you got a blender, that is like drinking and eating 2 salads and fruit salads a day. It's a superfood. Not only would that fill you up, and then you ain't going to want the chips and all that other crap that's bad for you, you're also getting a whole bunch of nutrition. So did you want to start now, or?
Go for it.
And you can call anytime and we'll stop and then answer your questions. But I'm gonna turn this over to Ian now. He's more of an expert than I am.
Okay, so I just wanted to cover 3 bullet points here real quick. Why is fitness important? So the health and wellness industry as we know it simply defines health and or wellness as the absence of disease. So you can be morbidly obese, and if you're not basically being kept alive by pills, you are technically considered well. I'm sure you guys have, and as soon as I start talking about this, somebody in your family is going to jump into your mind. You're going to have had that aunt, that uncle, that mother, that father, that cousin, whatever, that drank, smoked, habitual tobacco user, you know, whatever the case may be. And you would have swore up and down that they were the healthiest person in the world. They weren't. You may believe that because they made it to 65, 70 years old. But the reality is they were killing themselves slowly. And imagine how much better quality of life they would have had they not lived like that. But now I want you to go back to that original story that I was talking about. One thing happened to that person. Maybe they got in a car wreck. Maybe they slipped and fell and broke their ankle. Maybe they did something as simple as stepping on a nail and that got infected. And then within the course of 12, 24, maybe 36 months, that person that you thought was oh so healthy and was the person who was proving you right about the way you want to live your life now is taking a nosedive. And this person's now in and out of the hospital, now living on drugs, got 1 foot in the grave, 1 foot in a banana peel. And unfortunately, that's generally what happens to people who live right here. So if you look at this diagram, it's a gas gauge. If you're not driving yet, you shouldn't have a phone and be on Facebook. Anyway, I'm just kidding. So we've got empty, we've got disease, death. This is the bottom end of the scale. The top end of the scale, F, full fitness, right? We are taking care of our bodies. We are making sure that we are strong. Due to the decline in manual labor in our society, we are no longer fit. People who used to work in fields and used to do hard manual labor jobs were basically exercising 6, 7, 8, 10, even 12 hours a day, farming, moving block, things of that nature, right? And those jobs have become fewer and fewer and fewer far in between. Most people spend a lot of their time sedentary, indoors, sitting behind a desk, which is all bad in and of itself. But those people are well. They don't have disease. Maybe they're doing just fine. But when something happens, they get to drop down towards this direction, down towards disease, death, problems, going to the hospital. Whereas individuals who want to take care of their bodies due to an absence of workload, which we all should be able to do, I mean, they're up here at the F. So now when I get sick, maybe I drop back to 7/8 of a tank. Maybe I drop back to 6/8 of a tank. Maybe I drop back to half a tank. But then as I recover from my disease, I'm coming back up here. Whereas these individuals who were just, well, they thought they were good to go, they were living their life. It's my life, I'll do whatever I want to do, which is an extremely selfish and fallacious thought. They're down here. Most of the time, they never had the opportunity to climb back up to what's wellness. They are that story we were just talking about at the beginning. So, we're going to move on now. I think that one probably hit home to a lot of people, to concepts for fitness, diet, exercise. All right, so I actually wrote a paper when I was finishing college in my nutrition classes, sports athletic nutrition. And I actually wrote "The Detriment of Diet and Exercise" was the title of my paper. Because most people, and especially, unfortunately, in our society, we live in this little bubble in America where even our poor have it better than other nations' rich. And we think that we're hard, and we're not. 99% of our population are very, very soft mentally and physically. It's sad. We are the most obese, disease-ridden nation, or free sovereign nation in the world. So what I meant by diet and exercise are bad is that most people psychologically cannot handle having their favorite goodies taken away while simultaneously beginning an exercise regimen that now is applying pain and discomfort. Because whether we like to admit it or not, exercise is uncomfortable. You are getting out of your comfort zone, your happy little chair behind your desk, and you're forcing your body to do something that it is not accustomed to. It's going to tell you this hurts. Some people I've even talked to report something that would almost be described like a fight or flight response. So now we're causing pain on the body, which our society tells us is bad. Big is beautiful now, right? We all want, right? You're a shameful, judgmental person if you don't think so. But that's completely illogical. So when we start trying to put these two things together, we've got pain coming onto our body from being sore and tired and starting an exercise routine, plus the psychological detriment of now taking away sugar. And we already talked about the drug study done in Europe between cocaine and the effects of sugar on the brain. So now we're having basically withdrawal, and we're applying pain to our body. So most people fail. Why do you think New Year's resolutions fail 99 times out of 100? Because they're trying to do everything at once. Yeah, sure, they may make it a few days, maybe even a week or two. But by the time you get around to that 10, 14 day, even if you were smart, you're one of those people, I'm going to go get a training partner. Okay, well, now we're a week in and they're late. Well, now I'm 10 days in and they're calling me and texting me, oh, they're not going to show up. Now I'm by myself. Why am I doing this? This hurts. I'm going to go to Amon's. Give me a donut. Right? So, totally not good. My advice to you would be to pick one or the other. If you want to eat better, I would say do that. If you want to exercise, which is what I recommend for my clients, and I'll explain why. Your body, if you're eating McDonald's twice a day, every day, and you're shoveling down pancakes with processed syrup for breakfast, your body is already used to running on literally trash. So if you start exercising, we can at least begin the body's motion process. So we can get through the soreness without taxing our brain too much. And I'm telling you, I've noticed this with large groups of clients that I've trained over the years. It's hilarious to watch, because I'll tell people, don't change a thing about your diet. Just don't eat any more food. You're going to be hungrier because you're raising your metabolic rate, right? Burning more calories, your body's going to tell you you need more food. That's not always correct. We are gluttons. Back to America, most obese nation in the world. Gotcha. So with that being said, it's hilarious. I used to love listening to people talk when they'd get done with a training session, like a little group fitness classes, and it'd be like, they would change up from, oh, I'm gonna go swing through Wendy's here in a minute, to, hey guys, do you want to go to Subway with me? And you can watch these people. They'll come in. I've literally had clients walk in with 1 liter bottles of Coke, and within a month, now they're down to Gatorade. And 2 months, now they're coming in with a bottle of water. People's natural identity, or their self-imposed identity, will start taking effect. They will start desiring to do better, to be better. And the ones who don't, well, they were never going to stick around in the first place. Now, if you want, so that was my movement bullet. If you want a simple food trick, which both of them have already covered this, I would say the #1 thing you can do, remove processed sugar from your diet.
Yay, yay, yay.
I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was something along the lines of the average American eats 14 pounds of sugar a year. Calorically speaking, I have no idea what that adds up to. But the reason that's so bad is because, again, most of us are sedentary. So when we intake processed sugar, that turns into glucose or blood glycogen, right? So if you're not doing anything to burn that energy off, then what does glycogen turn into, or glucose? That turns into adipose tissue. Adipose tissue are fat cells. Your body will not go, I got too much of this, I need to crap it out or pee it out like extra vitamins. It doesn't work that way with sugar. So what your body does instead is goes, well, obviously I'm storing this up for a reason, I need to keep it and hold on to it. And then before you know it, we're overweight. And it doesn't happen overnight. I can't tell you how many people I've had this conversation with, and I keep it real with them because I'm very particular about the clients that I train, because if you're not mentally the type of person I want to work with, I'm not going to work with you. And I'll ask people, well, when did you start deciding you had a problem? Was it when you were 5 pounds overweight? Was it when you were 20 pounds overweight? Was it when you were 80 pounds overweight and are now considered morbidly obese and you get out of breath walking from your couch to the kitchen? When did you decide you started having a problem? Because nobody wakes up morbidly obese. It doesn't happen that way. Yes, before you start calling in and giving me crap, there are genetic variances that cause people to gain weight easier than others. Just like there are genetic variances that cause people to lose weight or maintain a certain body fat percentage easier than others. I will tell you, there is zero, not a single shred of scientific proof at all that says any of those genetic variances make it okay to be morbidly obese. They don't. Last bullet point. Something is better than nothing. I can't tell you how many people I've had this conversation with. They're like, oh man, I didn't get my training in this week. I was gonna quit, man. This is my schedule, my life, my what. Okay, I want you to change that up from I don't have time to do something to this isn't a priority. It hits the core a little bit different when you say it like that. I don't have time for something gives me an excuse. This isn't a priority in my life puts the blame and fault on me. And that's awesome. You know why? Because one of the biggest things I absolutely despise about the average American is the complete lack of personal accountability that we have. It's just being real. People do not like to be told that what they're doing is wrong or bad for them. They immediately want to get up in arms and get defensive and tell you about why you're a horrible person. And you know what? I'll wear that badge with honor. I don't care. I'm going to tell you like it is.
I want to interject something real quick. Ian has a phrase that he said it years ago, and I every time I feel wimpy and I don't want to work out and and I want to have that excuse, I think of what he says. I don't know if you coined the phrase or you stole it. I don't care.
Stole it.
He stole it. Okay. Whoever invented this phrase, you need to think about this. You will either make time for your health and fitness now, or you will be forced to make time for your illness later. Let me repeat that, because there's nothing more true that he's going to say tonight than that statement. You either will make time for your health and fitness now and in the future, or you will be forced to make time for your illness in and out of the hospital. Just want to interject that one. Go ahead.
Oh, you're good, Mom. Thank you. But something is better than nothing. You don't need to train like a pro. I know a lot of you guys follow me on like Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that, and I'm all the time posting lifts or like pictures of whatever my training session looks like for the day. What I do is not normal. And I would even go as far to say is what I do is not healthy. I am a competitive professional athlete. I love to test myself against the best people I could find when I was fighting in MMA. And now that I compete as a CrossFitter, I thoroughly enjoy that, but I'm going to tell you it hurts. Training 20, 30 hours a week between teaching my martial arts classes and then preparing for CrossFit is not easy. It sucks. There's days I get out of bed and it's like I'm so stiff it feels like I'm doing origami with plywood. But thought you'd like that. But you don't need to train like a professional athlete. Something is better than nothing. I guarantee you, if you just start walking, if you hire a coach, if you do something, commit yourself even a day a week to physical exercise, training, something along those lines, then when you get to a point in your life where, you know what, my last kid graduated high school and they're moving out, or I finally got these bills paid off, or I finally got a car and I just really didn't trust my car to put too many more miles on it, or whatever the excuse may be. At some point, those excuses will, I mean, if you're getting after life anyway, if you're hooking and jabbing, those excuses will become smaller and smaller and smaller. If not, start disappearing. Then you can go, well, I do have more time. I have the ability to now train 3 times a week for 30 to 45 minutes, maybe even an hour. And I guarantee you, when you get to that point, then you're not starting from zero anymore. So if you start to jump into a 3-day-a-week training session after not training for years, you're going to quit that really quickly. I guarantee you. Most people do. But if I was diligent with what little time I had, then as God blesses me with more time, I will have more energy, more fitness, and more ability level to begin that training program that I always wanted to do to take care of myself. And I'm going to close with this, because I get a lot of haters on Facebook when I health shame. I never fat shame people. I think that that's trash. I see people that are morbidly overweight trying to exercise and stuff like that, and I am your all's #1 cheerleader. If you're out there and you're like, man, I really don't know what to do with myself, shoot me a message. I'm on Facebook. My profile's not blocked. I don't care to give out free information. I don't care to try to, give some tips and pointers and stuff like that. If you want a full-blown exercise program, you're gonna have to pay for that. I spent the better part of half my life learning what I've learned. I don't just give it all away for free. But I have no issue helping people who have legitimate questions or concerns with their health. But I will say this to sum up. People who say things like, well, it's my life. I'm not hurting anybody else. It's just me. Well, all right. Physically, I mean, that's very correct. But let's talk about why that is absolutely as selfish can possibly get. So you probably have a significant other, and there's a strong possibility you have children. So as time goes on and you get older and you didn't take care of yourself, well, now who's going to take care of you? When your leg's getting chopped off from diabetic neuropathy, or you start going blind from retinopathy, or your blood pressure's through the roof, or you're on 10 pills a day and you can't remember which ones to take and which not, who's going to be pushing your wheelchair? Who's going to be taking you to these doctor's appointments? I feel like your health and your wellness doesn't just affect you. Physically, again, you may be only hurting yourself. But the reality is it's an extremely selfish way to live your life, because you're going to be taking away from from everybody you say you supposedly love through your actions. Thank you, guys.
Okay, again, you can call in and ask questions, 376-5000, and we appreciate Ian coming on and staying with us. One of the things I posted, and I got a lot of questions about, and Dan, you can jump in here anytime, and if you guys call in, 376-5000, we'll take your call, is about complex carbohydrate. A carb is not, and he'll correct me if I'm right, he's more the expert than I am, but I was in the military, then I was a federal agent, and by virtue of the jobs that I have had, and still have, some of them, I had to stay in shape. So I have a lifetime of health and fitness, okay? But I've had injuries. In fact, this shoulder injury really set me back in, I'll tell you that. And that was hard to come back from and try to get back in shape. I'm almost back to where I was, and I'm going to start jiu-jitsu when he moves in his new gym, back to jiu-jitsu again, which, you know, the definition of jiu-jitsu, probably the best definition, you talk about a workout, that's the art of folding laundry while people are still wearing it. But you will get in shape, okay, in jiu-jitsu. But anyways, one of the things that I posted that people are saying, well, what do you eat? Because, you know, starting off. Complex carbohydrates. Here's an example of one of my days. I get up in the morning, and folks, I probably eat more than these guys sitting here. I probably eat more than 50, 60% of the men who are out there. But it's not just how much you eat. It's what you're putting in your mouth. Okay, I eat a good-sized bowl of oatmeal. In that oatmeal, I put blueberries, strawberries. I take a handful of nuts, and this is walnuts, pecans, cashews. Also, I put all kinds of seeds, sesame seeds. I use the tri-seeds, whatever. We're talking a lot of nuts, okay? Because that's a lot of my protein. Because I don't need a whole lot of meat, okay? And my bowl of oatmeal is this big, okay? But it's all complex carbohydrates. I put milk in there, and that will fill you up. And nothing in there is going to go to fat, because it's not bread, it's not chips, it's not potatoes. There's a difference between complex carbohydrates and regular bad carbs. I just call them bad carbs, because that's what they are. They're bad. They're not good for you. Also, I do not use sugar. I don't even know if I have sugar in my house. I probably do. Never use it. I use honey, a little bit in my coffee, and a little bit in my oatmeal. That will be my breakfast. And that's pretty much 6 days a week. 1 day a week I have my pancakes, okay? Lunch. Like today, I went to the Mexican food restaurant here. I had to get a pollo mango. Okay, what is that? And it's a big plate of food. And in fact, somebody, I won't mention their names, came by and goes, how do you eat all that? Because it's a big plate. It's like, oh, what a pig, you know? Yeah. Well, first off, I work out 5 days a week. But also, that big piece of chicken is lean baked chicken. Okay, not fried, nothing on the outside, okay? Then it also had all kinds of veggies. It had, broccoli, cauliflower, rice, carrots. Think about what's on that plate. I had one chip before. I did give myself a little chip, and then one chip afterwards, but I ate that big plate of food, okay? Guess what? I'm not hungry. I'm not, and once I get past the cravings for the bread, the last time that I let it come back into my life, I'm good now. I can do this. Now tonight when I go home, what I will probably have in the evenings, what I probably have is a handful of cashews and that smoothie that I'm talking about, okay? Big, all good fats, okay? Avocados too. I put avocados in everything. I mean, if you can smoothie it, avocado it, I don't care what it is, avocados. People say, well, that's fat. There's a difference between fats, too. Good fats, am I right, actually create brown adipose tissue, brown fat tissue, which eats bad fat tissue. So it kind of eats it. It replaces it. Does it eat it? Or?
They're called multi-chain triglycerides. They actually act as almost a natural thermogenic, which is why a lot of people use coconut oil, for example. Coconut oil is an extremely strong natural thermogenic. Again, they're called multi-chain triglycerides. The way they operate in your system, I practically lived on coconut oil and avocados when I was fighting at lightweight because I'm a midget. I'm only 5'7", but I weigh a freaking ton for my size. I'm fluctuate between 185 and 190 pounds. So trying to cut down to 155 pounds or be able to stay walking around, 172, 173 was very, very difficult for me. Believe it or not, fats are how I stayed that low.
So there's good fats and bad fats. I want to hit the coconut oil thing too. I buy in a jar organic coconut oil. I put a spoonful of that in my smoothies. Not only that, I rub coconut oil all over my body every night, exterior of your body. Okay, I'm talking pure coconut oil on my face, everywhere. I mean, don't get it in your eyes for obvious reasons, but because it also, unlike a lot of other kind of oils, it really goes into your skin. And it's really, really good for you. So, because somebody's asking me, how come your skin, you're 60 years old, it looks like good? Coconut oil, I put it in my hair too. Maybe not every night, but I try to get it in my hair and soak it in my hair and everything, because it does a lot of good, a lot of good. So anyways, so that's the kind of how I eat. I eat very light at night, and I try, again, no potatoes, like Ian said, no bread. Every once in a while, I mean, like he said, moderation. Once a week I have my blueberry pancakes. That stuff, so for me, it's so addictive. Now I really try to completely stay away from it, except for my once a week pancakes, and today I had 2 chips. I look at those things as a drug, because I think they are. I think that they put stuff in there that is just like a drug. So I know how addictive it was for me, and I know how painfully addictive and how hard it was this last time when I let this stuff back into my life. And how bad for you is when I'm doing my regular eating schedule, and keep in mind I'm 60, okay? So if I can do it, you can do it. My regular eating schedule and regular working out schedule, my blood work comes back like a 30-year-old or a 20-year-old. It's really, really good. The minute I let bread and chips and potatoes back into my life, my triglycerides like tripled. It was way above normal. And tell you explain what triglycerides can do to you, high triglycerides.
They clog your arteries and kill you.
Okay.
My sugar went from 500 and something back when I quit sweet tea, which has tons of sugar in it. My sugar went back to like 112, which is normal.
Yeah.
And so it could affect you in a million different ways. And while I'm speaking, I would like to make clear that Darlene tries to paint herself as being mean to Austin, but that's absolutely not true. Austin told me for a fact that she never hit or bruised him in any place that was shown in public. He said she's a wonderful wife.
He says that jokingly. But anyways, but I do get, I'm telling you, when I had to go back off that stuff, but I can feel myself just getting witchy, I'm telling you. And also, when you get used to working out 5 days a week, once I don't work out for 3 or 4 days, I get witchy too. So, okay, we got a call. Truth or Politics, what's your comment or question?
I've been trying to call in a few times over. It said the mailbox is full somewhere. But anyways, another thing about working out and physical fitness that you haven't touched on yet is physical fitness and working out is also mental fitness.
It is.
You'll change your mental attitude and stuff when you work out. It has an effect on your mental fitness too.
Yeah, it does. That's an excellent point, caller. Anything else?
No, that's all.
Okay, thank you very much. And I was just getting ready to hit on that. Depression. I'm one of these people. I'm a high-strung. People who know me out there. If you don't know, if you're a new person, welcome aboard. I forgot to say that. Welcome to our new members and our new people followers on Facebook, because we now have Facebook in Pulaski County. We have Truth or Politics Pulaski County, Truth or Politics Louisville, all over Truth or Politics, and we have new people every day, and we want to welcome you. And I completely forgot that, and I apologize for that. But I'm a very high-strung person. I have a very difficult mental job. It can be very, for those of you who know, I was a former federal agent for many years, retired federal agent. very emotional job. I did almost all narcotics work, narcotic smuggling in the LA area and then southern border. I also now, I worked for the prosecution for 20 years. Now I work in our law office for my husband, but I also work on criminal defense cases for other lawyers as a criminal defense investigator. And when you're working cases that are like murder cases, and you got somebody's life in your hands, literally, and you're the defense, and I'm the investigator on that case, that's a lot of pressure, especially if you really believe in this case and you know this person's innocence. And if you fail, if you screw this up, they're going to prison, and it's your fault. And you'll feel like it's your fault, okay? That's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of stress. And we do Truth or Politics. And for those who have been around a while, they know the kind of stuff that we have exposed in Pulaski County recently, here at home, all the kind of waste, fraud, abuse, corruption, you name it, and we've exposed it. School board, yeah, that we've exposed. Those investigations and exposing that stuff, you make a few enemies. You do. And so, most of you people out there like me and you like what I do. But there's some people out there that would love to kill me. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. There is voodoo dolls with my face on it being poked even as we speak. So a lot of that creates stress. My whole life has been a stressful job. From the time I went into the military, I was a criminal investigator. I was a CID, a captain in U.S. Army Military Police Corps assigned to a CID unit, criminal investigation. We did all the rapes, robberies, murders, and investigations. These are highly stressful jobs. These are also jobs that will cause you to have PTSD, okay? I have PTSD. My son has been in the military. He's been exposed to that. Anybody who has PTSD, you really, really need to have a workout program, and you need to eat right even more for your mental health. When I go 3 or 4 days without working out, I'm Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. I mean, I haven't killed anybody yet that we know of. And I'm not violent, but I mean, most of you know me as, I'm pretty funny and I try to be easygoing and everything. I can become a real witch. I mean, and I know I feel it happening to me. So when I had my injury, that was awful to go through. But I know it, so I try to, okay, this ain't real. Austin really is not over there growing horns, and I'm really not pissed at him. I'm really just feeling anxiety, and I'm not going to take it out on him. So working out has saved me. It's probably saved my marriage. Eating right and exercising in some form, and that collar's dead right, will save you. It absolutely will, because it inputs endorphins in your body. It does. I mean, I can be really upset of something at work. The minute I get up to his gym, or I'm on my trail behind my house hoofing it, by the time I do that hour workout, and not everybody needs to do an hour, but hour or so workout, whatever I was mad at is just gone. It's gone. And I didn't have to take a pill. Let me repeat that. When you work out and you really do a pretty decent workout, whatever your anxiety is, whatever, exercise can take. Ian's had people in the gym, and I want you to talk about this. You show up who are on different kind of meds and stuff, and by the time they listen to him and they do a workout and health and regimen, they're off their drugs. Talk about that, Ian.
May I speak before Ian?
Yeah.
As I mentioned before, I'm almost 74-year-old. And when I go to Ian's, there's only one or two, I'm probably the oldest one there, and there's only one or two others anywhere near my age. But he sets up a program that will not hurt you because of your age, and it will benefit you. I'm a living example of that. And you can take full advantage of that because he has all the equipment, all of the situation. He can work with you one-on-one or leave you alone, let you do your own thing. And you will feel better when you leave. Plain and simple. And it gives you initiative to actually go out and do this. And most of the elderly end up sitting on the couch because most of society and their hurts, their aches and pains make them drop out. And that's not good for you. You need to be out there, active and involved, and doing some sort of. I would like to see a lot more elderly people in your gym doing what they can do, and it costs so very little. It's inconsequential, and it's just it's a wonderful thing to do, and I highly recommend it.
I would totally be willing to work, even do a morning program specifically established for senior citizens. I don't have any issue doing that. As far as people that I've worked with, I'll tell you one of the best examples I had. I'm not going to use his name because I think that would be rude, but we had, in a group fitness class, I had a gentleman that was 47 years old, and he was morbidly obese. There's, I'm not trying to be rude, it just is what it is. When you're if I remember correctly, he was 5'11", and he was nearly 400 pounds, and it was not good weight. That's an issue. He came in, and I told him exactly what I told you guys from my board. I was like, he was asking me about diet and exercise, and I was like, no, let's just start moving. I was like, movement is medicine. Let me repeat that. Movement is medicine.
Well said.
When you are moving, you are creating blood flow. You are creating more synovial fluid in your joints. All the blood that sits in your organs that don't have anything to do with exercise or your body, what would be considered your fight or flight response, moves out of your intestines, moves out of your stomach. Why do you think, if you guys have ever exercised for any period of time, you'll know you never really feel hungry when you're training. Because even if you were hungry beforehand, if you start training, hunger goes away. Why? Your body pulls all the blood out of those organs that it doesn't need to sustain right now and starts filling your muscles and starts putting more fluid into your joints. As you move, that new nutrient-dense blood now flows into your joints, flows into your muscles, allows them to get that quote-unquote pump, right? And as it dissipates and leaves, the nutrients that it brought in stay. So whether it's an achy joint or muscle fatigue, whatever it may be, you're actually helping yourself tremendously. But anyway, back to my friend. He asked me, he's like, he worked with me for about a week, and he was like, Ian, I really can do something diet related. Just give me one thing. And I was like, okay. I told him, I was like, do me a favor. I was like, I want you to write down what you eat for the next 3 days. And I was like, you don't need to tell me how much. I'm not asking you to get a gram scale out or ounces and weigh everything, but just tell me what you eat. And over the course of 3 days, he drank nearly 1.5 gallons of soda. That was the only thing I asked him to remove from his diet. I was like, I don't want you to drink soda at all. Not diet soda, not Coke Zero. All that stuff is absolute garbage, and actually there's been tremendous amounts of research that have shown that sugar substitutes actually cause your body to crave processed sugar even more. So as crazy as that sounds, but I asked him to not drink any type of soda. In 4 weeks, he lost 37 pounds. That was shocking.
And I've heard other people, and you can continue with that here in a minute, and almost everybody else, I tell people, stop drinking sodas. The only time I drink a soda is when my band's playing on a Saturday night and I'm tired and I hit a brick wall right around 10 p.m. I'll drink one Mountain Dew, man. I'll suck it down because you're up on stage and there's 100 people there and you got to do what you got to do. So, or if I'm driving somewhere and I'm starting to get really, really drowsy, and especially if I got grandkids in the car, I'll drink a Mountain Dew. Other than that, you'll never see me with a soda, period. Any kind of sodas. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I had a grandmother that trained with me for about 6 months, and then she moved away. But she was able to actually quit taking her rheumatoid arthritis medication. Rheumatoid arthritis is an type of autoimmune disease. She had never exercised in her life. After if I remember correctly, it was right at 3.5 months of 3 times a week. She came in, we had an hour-long class, and that was warm up all the way through cool down. She was 64, if I remember correctly. You were there when she was there.
Yeah, she was about my age. She's a little bit older than me, about 60, yeah.
And she went to her doctor's office because she was feeling bad from working out. And I was like, oh crap, well that's terrible. Well, it was because her rheumatoid arthritis was in remission. She didn't need her medication anymore. She stopped taking the medication and she immediately stopped feeling bad.
Yeah, so there's especially emotional medications. There's a lot of people that once you start substituting eating right and exercising, you can slack off or get completely off some of these really bad meds, which cause all kinds of, anything that's medicine, even if it's, at the time you need it, it all has side effects. I mean, I had to go on antibiotics. Man, you talk about wrecking your system. I had to go on some serious antibiotics for ulcers that were created by H. pylori bacteria. That messed me up in a big way. I can't even tell you how that messed me up. Those antibiotics could just really mess you up. But I think I came out of it quicker and better and was able to bounce back because I was fit before that happened. I tried to stay fit during it, and then so I bounced back afterwards. You know what I mean? Better than a lot of people would. And that's another thing. If you get yourself in pretty good shape, and please, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to anybody that's lost anybody from COVID, but facts are in, and the facts are this. Not everybody, but most people who ended up really bad off from COVID or dying from COVID were in bad shape to begin with, okay? And then COVID just took them out. People who are in pretty good shape, pretty healthy mentally and physically, they survived COVID. Almost always. I mean, there's a few examples of that, very few, but go ahead.
The one example that was being circulated in 2020 of the bodybuilder who shriveled up to absolutely nothing and had tubes and stuff coming out of his stomach, they conveniently forget to mention that he was in full-blown AIDS. You get a major medical symptom of any type and have full-blown AIDS, you're going down. So that was completely fallacious.
Yeah, so that's the other reason you need to try to get in shape at any age, And one of the things, thank you, Dan, for being on here, is because we want to show you, I'm 60, he's 73, Barb's sitting back here, and how old are you, Barb?
Nobody knows for sure.
Nobody knows for sure, she will tell our age.
And you're not going to find out.
And if you look at Barb, I mean, she looks great, she tries to eat right, she does some exercise, and, I want to hit what Ian said about, for some of you, that means just walking. If you can get your butt up in the morning or the evenings, I know it's hot out, or if you got steps in your house, if you're out there and you got a flight of steps in your house, go up and down your steps. That's all you have to do. If you have to stop and rest, that's fine. If you do that 3 or 4 times a week, enough to where you're out of breath, you try to do it for at least 30, 40 minutes. I mean, stop and rest. When I do I call it Ian's torture chamber. I want to just go through my work. This is my workout now because I'm still recuperating from the shoulder injury. But I get on a stationary bike, and it's kind of hard. I do that 5 to 10 minutes, okay? Then I go stretch out, and I do a lot of stretching because I'm old, okay? Then from there I go, and he has me doing a whole regimen of strength building. I do 10, 10, 10. I basically do ring pull-ups, crunches.
There's a reason behind that. So yeah. Everything we do in life is right here. We're driving, we're writing, we're typing, whatever it may be. The vast majority of your life and experiences are obviously right in front of you. Well, what does that mean for an aging population? And not trying to be rude, but especially for women, because your skeletal structure does not allow you to have the type of muscle mass on your back that men can build. So if you look around, and I guarantee you've probably oh yeah, I know what he's talking about. If you've ever looked around, been sitting in a room or a restaurant or something, and you look at females, they look like a hot dog. Their shoulders are all rolled forward like this. And then before too much longer, they start getting that hump in their back as they get into their 40s and 50s. And then before too much longer, they're about just staring at the floor. Well, the reason for that is they're not doing anything to correct their spinal column and keep themselves into a neutral posture. My advice to people who, especially aging population, 1, do as much as you can through a full range of motion. The #1 cause of injury in aging athletes is tripping and falling. Falling out of the shower. You got to pick your foot up 18 to 20 inches to get your foot over the edge of the tub. Going up and down stairs, stepping over a threshold, coming off your porch, whatever it may be. So we're
falling off a log in your trail.
Yeah. So the more you sit, the shorter and weaker your hip flexors or your psoas tendons get, and it gives you what's called foot drop. You can't lift your knee up as high as you used to be able to, and then your toes get caught on stuff. Now we're tripping and falling. The other thing is pulling. You should be doing twice as much pulling as you are push it, because like I said, everything is here. We're driving, we're riding, we're typing, we're playing with our grandkids, we're throwing football, but whatever it may be, everything we do is right in front of us. And I can't tell you how many people are like, oh my God, my shoulder is just killing me, I can't do anything about it. And they've worked with me for a few weeks with nothing more than some light rubber bands, because we're not looking for building strength. We're looking for the neurological precept to get our spine and our skeletal system back into neutral alignment where it's supposed to be in the first place. Like, man, I thought I was going to have surgery. I can't believe I feel this much better after 6 weeks. It's like, well, because I just corrected your posture. Nothing more. We're not supposed to sit like this. We're not supposed to look like Quasimodo.
Yeah, in fact, they were saying that, I went to some experts, I ain't going to mention who the experts are in Lexington, but they were telling me you're probably going to have surgery. I thought, no. I listened to him and did what he told me to do, and now I don't have to have surgery. Now I can do 5 minutes, okay. Oh gosh, no wonder I'm looking at the wrong clock. 5 minutes, folks. Now I don't have to have surgery, and now I'm almost back to normal, and just doing the band thing that he has me do, the ring pulls, and also that rowing machine, the rowing machine. So, folks, you can do this. I'm 60. If I can do this, and you don't have to do the rigorous stuff that I do, okay, because I was in shape before this injury happened. If you can get out and walk 3 or 4 days a week, just start walking and stop drinking sodas. Do those 2 things, and you will be shocked in a month how much better you feel. And then you can add things, like Ian says, don't do everything all at once. Just start walking. First, start moving. Movement. Go ahead.
Movement is medicine. I can't say it enough. Movement is medicine.
It is. And, just getting out on my track, and it's mentally, it's medicine, too. Did you want to say something, too?
No, as far as I can tell, I've covered the fact that it has done a world of good for me, and I highly recommend it.
And, he had a heart attack, too, a long time ago. He was a big game hunter. But his whole life, he has done that labor that Ian was talking about. He's a builder. He gets out and mows and does things and stuff like that. So, just be active. We've got a couple minutes left for a call. If anybody wants to call in and ask a question. I know people are reluctant to call in because, they'll recognize my voice. Folks, by the time it comes through this phone and in this microphone, nobody can recognize your voice. So don't worry about that. Or you can PM me, private message me on Facebook. Or my email address is legaldarlene@gmail.com. And how can people get a hold of you if they have questions, Ian?
My gym's phone number is 606-416-9834. We're getting ready to move into a new location here, hopefully within the next hopefully within the next 2 to 3 weeks. And I would love to work with anybody that would think they could use my help. You can call or text that number, 606-416-9834. Our administrative director will get with you shortly.
And my Gmail address is legaldarlene, legaldarlene, legaldarlene@gmail.com. You can email me with questions and stuff. And if I can't answer them, I'll go to him. If he can't find an answer, he has a whole network of experts that he works with that can help you answer your questions. So we just want to show you that, hey, if old geezers like us can do it, and I mean that lovingly, if we can do it, you guys can do it. Just go get you some tennis shoes and get out right now. Get off the television. Go put some shoes on. The number one thing, the hardest thing is getting started. Getting started. If you can just get started mentally. If you can do it once, then you can tell yourself, I did this. I'm going to do it again tomorrow, or wait a day or 2 days. Go ahead.
If I could, before we quit, I'd like to tell one more little story. They asked my granddaughter when she was little, they said, how old are you? And she said, I'm 3. And they said, well, how old is your grandpa? And she said, he's old as dirt. And then they asked her, said, well, how old is your grandma? And she said, nobody knows for sure. So that's where that come from. It's a true story.
Barb always, when I first met Dan and Barb, I thought Barb looks a lot younger than she is, because she does. She takes care of herself. She does. I looked at that, I said, dude, you robbed the cradle big time. And he goes, no, she's X, I won't say her age. I don't know it for sure anyway. But she looks a lot younger than she is. And I said, but I thought he robbed the cradle, because she looks like she's like 20 years younger than he is, 30 years younger than he is. So. But anyway, and Ian's beautiful wife is sitting back here too. Come on, quick, get up here. Come on, come on. Look at her. She's shy. Get up here. Come here.
Show them an example of what a
Show them
healthy
the
wife
example
can
of
do
what a
for you.
healthy wife can. And I'm not going to say her age, okay? She looks 27. Do your muscles. She really works out. She can bench press more than most men. I'm telling you, this girl is in shape. And I'm just going to say she's a little bit older than what she looks. But this is what health and fitness does. If you eat right and you exercise, she's going to, please don't get mad at me. No, but I want people to know she's older than she looks. I'm not going to tell her age, but she's older. But she looks this great because she eats right and exercises. So that's the other benefit, ladies. If you want to stay looking younger, you will look younger longer if you eat right and exercise. And we are out of time, right? Are we out? Okay, also, July 2nd, folks, American Legion starting at 6 o'clock. Everything's free, but if you want to buy burgers, dogs, or drinks, you got to pay for that. But the entertainment's free, the band's free, the fireworks free. July 2nd, American Legion, Stearns, Kentucky. And they're raising money, selling the food, because the American Legion does a lot of work. So we are done. We will see you next time on Truth or Politics. Thanks.